It sounds bad when you say it like that, but it's okay. It's okay. 2.5 out of 5 ex-girlfriends as stepmoms. That's a valid point. Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Marie and welcome to or back to my channel. Today I have definitely an interesting video for you guys. Lately I've been seeing a lot of people react to 1-star reviews of their favorite books, and I thought that would be kind of fun. I want to see why people wouldn't like these books because I don't get it. They're my favorites. So the book I'm going to start with, I don't actually have a physical copy of because I read it as an ebook, but it is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I'm starting with this one because I can only imagine what the reviews are going to say. So let's just get into it. So I'm going to give a little synopsis of each book before we go into the reviews, just so you guys have some context if you haven't read it, but I'm not going to give any spoilers. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas is an age gap romance, and it's kind of more of a taboo, forbidden romance. So this book starts with our main character, Jordan. She is in a relationship with a guy, but he's not that great to her. It's just not a super healthy situation, but one night on her birthday, Jordan is at work and they let her out early, and her ride was supposed to be her boyfriend, so she calls him, no answer. So she decides that she's gonna go wait it out and she's gonna go to the movie theater next door and go see a midnight showing of a horror movie. She walks into the movie theater and of course runs into this attractive older man. His name is Pike. He is 38 and she is 19, so almost 10 years. Whoa, almost 20 years. Ooh. It sounds bad when you say it like that, but it's okay. It's okay. Nothing happens at the movie theater suggestively. They just have like this immediate connection. And lo and behold, she finds out that Pike is her boyfriend's dad, and they end up having to move in with him. Most of this book is the tension that builds between the two of them. Now, there's no cheating on Jordan's side of her current relationship, so you don't have to worry about that in the book. But there is like this tension that builds with Pike, and my God, is that tension what I live for in books. I love a good slow burn tension, like, I love a good slow burn, like, tension romance. I don't know. It's one of my favorite tropes. But yeah, so I just would love to see what people are saying about this book. I can only imagine what people are saying about this book. So let's look at some reviews. Oh no. So I'm not going to try to read everyone's names because I will mispronounce a majority of them, and I feel bad doing that. So this person just said, thoroughly traumatized. Yikes. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm sorry the book traumatized you. I still love it though. This person just said, I'm so disappointed. I'm sorry. I don't know how you would be disappointed, but it's, you know what? It's okay. I'm not gonna get offended at these reviews. I refuse. Okay, this person said, couldn't hold my attention, no chemistry between anyone, and so very boring. Definitely skimmed the last half of this book. How is it boring? How is it boring? I don't know. You know what? I personally do not believe it's boring. I think that it's relatively spicy. Like I said, this is still one of my top 10 books. Like, this is like 5-star for me. So let's see what other people have to say. This person just said one word. Nope. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so this person said, there's something wrong with y'all. Don't shame me. Don't shame me. I'm sorry you're not interested in the book. I am. Oh my god, okay. This person said, damn, I hated this. Maybe heteros don't deserve rights. Oh god, okay, so I can see where you're coming from with that one. But this isn't the straight book to complain about. I don't know. I love the spirit of that comment, but just not towards this book. This one just says, how do I give it 0 stars? I'm sorry, who hurt you? Who hurt you? 2.5 out of 5 ex-girlfriends as stepmoms. That's a valid point. That's it. Yeah, that's a valid point. Honestly, all this is making me want to do is reread the book. Okay, so now I'm gonna look for like a longer, more serious review. Okay, so this one says, I tried, but this book was extremely boring. That's it. It wasn't bad or anything along those lines. It was just very boring. I almost thought of DNFing it. I couldn't connect with the main character. I didn't hate her or him. Sometimes Jordan was a little bit immature, but I could understand why she was mad. Still, I felt even though they spent half the book bonding with each other, there aren't many scenes between them. IDK. The way the conflict was resolved wasn't bad, but to be honest, towards the end I was more and more tired of reading this. I just wanted to end it. Well, I just don't see how this book could be boring. I've read a lot of boring books, and I don't see how this one specifically is boring. But whatever, it's okay. Now I'm going to move on to another book that is near and dear to my heart. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This book is so important to me. I love this book. Just for a little synopsis, this book centers on our main character, Wallace. He is a lawyer, but within the first couple of pages, he dies of a heart attack, and he ends up attending his own funeral, but no one can see him. And there's literally maybe 5 people there, and he realizes that none of them even like him. So he has to deal with that, and then he sees one person that can see him, and that ends up being his Reaper, May, whose job it is to bring him to the next stage in his afterlife. So she does just that. She brings him to this tea shop in the woods, and it is the coziest thing ever. But at this tea shop, Wallace meets Hugo, who is the ferryman, and he is the one who is supposed to bring him to the next stage in his afterlife. And basically, Wallace and Hugo have a little bit of a thing, and I don't know. This book is just, it touches on a lot of dark subjects in a very, lighthearted way. I don't know. I love this book. I love T.J. Klune's writing. I love gay romances, so I don't know. This is one of my absolute favorites. I don't know what people could say about this book that is bad, and I think these reviews might actually offend me. So let's get into it. Let's see what people have to say. So this person says, "Are you serious? LMFAO. I have an intense love for T.J. Klune and have enjoyed everything I've read by him up until this point, but this book just wasn't it. As much as I typically enjoy TJ's quirky writing, it just absolutely did not do it for me here. For a story that is attempting to be a meditation on death and dying, that is about as deep as a kiddie pool, and as emotionally moving as my morning cornflakes." Well, I cried reading this book, so it emotionally moved me. And also, this book, really helped with my anxiety about death, so I don't know. I don't get it, but it's okay. Okay, so there's more. This book attempts to do a few things, and I think it fails at each. Number 1, a moving journey of emotional growth for Wallace, the white man male character. It was a fail. I disagree, but fine. Number 2, found family, and it was a fail. I disagree. This is a really good found family book. Number 3, have discussions of death, loss, and dying that tug at your heartstrings, which it tries its best at throughout the narrative, but then spits in your face as a reader by the end. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I think this handles death and loss really well, and I can see what they're talking about at the end, but I don't think that it's a spit in your face, because I think if anything else would have happened at the end, I would have not liked this book, so. Number 4, crafting a swoon-worthy romance between Wallace and Hugo, which is perhaps the biggest fail of all. I can see where they're coming from on this one. It's not a huge part of the book, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I think the romance is supposed to be a little, sprinkle into the more serious topics in this book, so I get what they're saying, but I think that it has the perfect amount of romance. Oh, and we're not done. Okay. There's also something to be said about the magical, endlessly patient person of color tasked with emotionally rehabilitating this man who essentially becomes Mr. Perfect overnight and whom Hugo is inexplicably enamored with, but I don't want to be too political in this review. Overall, it did nothing for me and I wouldn't recommend it. I can see where they're coming from with this one too, and that is an important thing to think about. But I don't think that it makes this book a bad book. But I do understand where they're coming from on that one. So, I don't know. That review, they made some good points. This is still a 5-star book for me. Oh gosh, okay. This one just says, life is messy and terrible and wonderful all at the same time. Sorry, but he is not the author for me. So are they saying that that is what the book is like? If so, I don't know. That is kind of what life is like, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh, this person said 7-hour poorly written Disney movie. So I agree with half of that statement. It's not poorly written, but it does give me the vibes of a Disney movie. I wish Disney made movies like this. I wish Disney made gay romances. I don't know. I'm gonna stop there for this one because my heart hurts thinking about the people that hate this book. So we're done with this one. Now let's move on to Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This one's gonna be fun because I know this is a favorite for most of you as well. We'll see. We'll see what people have to say because I love this book. So this book is a no strings attached romance, which that's never how that goes. But either way, essentially this book centers on Tate and Miles, who are the main characters. So the main character, Tate, ends up moving in with her brother at the beginning of the book. And as she's moving in, she gets to the apartment and there is a drunk man leaning against the door asleep. So Tate calls her brother. She's like, what the heck is going on? Can you get this man, like, help? So her brother's like, okay, let me call my best friend / my neighbor and he can help you move the guy. Lo and behold, that neighbor friend is Drunk Man. And Drunk Man is Miles. So Tate and Miles kind of start off on the wrong foot, but slowly but surely they realize they are attracted to each other. Tate and Miles have a conversation and they agree that they can just keep their relationship physical, no strings attached. And Miles has 2 rules. 1, don't ask about his past. 2, don't expect a future. So you can see how that's gonna go. So that's kind of the general idea of the book. So let's look at some bad reviews. Oh yeah. Okay, so this one just says, this one's for all the I can fix some girlies out there. Not me. Y'all stay safe though. Yeah, that's a valid point. This one's gonna make all the Colleen Hoover stans mad, but it just says, there's better writing on the walls of high school toilets than in this book. I disagree, buddy, but that's okay. I'm sorry you feel that way. I don't know why you feel that way, but respectfully, no. Okay, oh yeah. This one says, in those 6 whole years, he never thought about going to therapy. That would have made for a shorter book. For sure. Yeah, Miles should have went to therapy. I agree with that. Still love the book though. Okay, so let's look at a slightly longer review. Not much longer, but just slightly longer. This one says, this book still amazes me years later because I never knew just how perfectly a person could transform into a doormat until Tate. Give me one unproblematic romance by Coho and I'll read it. I'm serious. I get this comment. I can see how people would think some of our books are problematic, but also life is problematic. I don't know. Maybe I'm problematic. Either way, I still love Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. None of these reviews changed my mind, so we're good on that front. Okay, so the next book I'm going to talk about is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. This book is one of my all-time favorites. It's just a great book. I don't know what else to say. This one centers around our main character, Lenny, and her family. So her dad's name is Ernst and her mom's name is Cora, and her dad is definitely abusive and traumatized. He was in Vietnam. He came back with a lot of trauma, which doesn't excuse his abusive behavior, but it explains his erratic behavior. But one day, Ernst inherits a cabin in Alaska from a guy that he was in the military with. So he decides that this is going to be their paradise. Everything's finally going to be okay. They're going to live off the land, not going to deal with the stupid government. So they take a road trip up to Alaska and they find the cabin and they start working on it and everything seems like it's going really well until the days start getting shorter and it starts getting colder and it goes into winter in Alaska. Trigger warnings on this book, I would definitely check them. But there is a little bit of romance. Lenny does meet a boy in Alaska. This book is very heavy, but it does end on a good note, so that's good. But I don't know. I can only imagine what people have to say about this book, so let's see. This person just said, from a family drama to The Shining real quick. That's a little accurate. The middle to the end of the book, it's been intense. So, they're not wrong, but it's not a 1 star for me, so. This one personally offends me. This person said, this is probably the worst writing I've read. How? I love Kristen Hanna. There's haters for every writer. Okay, that's fine. So this one says, this was not for me. Started out promising, but then went off the rails into a soap opera. Everything was so over the top and the characters lacked development. I can see where they're coming from with the soap opera thing. Like I said, it's a pretty dramatic book, but I think the characters are really developed. I don't know. It's personal preference. This person just said, not my cup of tea. Valid point. That's okay. Ooh. So this person said, this book reads like a Stephenie Meyer novel without the sexy vampires, which is to say, bad and without sexy vampires. I disagree. I don't know. I disagree. Oh yeah. Okay, so this one says, pretty depressing most of the time, underwhelming all of the time. Alaska never disappointed though. I agree with 2 out of those 3 points, because it was quite depressing most of the time, and Alaska is stunning in this book. The way she explains the scenery in Alaska, it makes me want to visit Alaska. So that is it. I am all out of time and energy to be reading those reviews. So I hope you enjoyed. I did. I think it's really cool to see why people don't like the books that I do like. So I think this was really fun, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed, definitely feel free to like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and see you later. I don't know. I think Birthday Girl is the one that was the most hilarious to read the reviews on, because I don't know, it is a polarizing book, so I understand that.